You start winning some fights, people want to dress you. See what happens, boys? The rich get richer. That's what they say.
Who are you wearing today?
I'm wearing Gaudi from these guys from West Island in Montreal. They have their own store, and they've been in business for a long, long time. And they did the nice thing of sponsoring me for this fight. So I got a couple more outfits for you guys throughout the week. Just going to keep dropping them one at a time.
So what, was that only recent? Did they only offer Faraz suits up until now, or what happened?
See, you know, it takes a long winning streak. You got to do something that's not easy. But Faraz is always getting taken care of no matter what happens. Win or lose, my brother's safe.
This is obviously a big fight for you, right? Fighting the guy who, as of this, will have the most fights in the bantamweight history. You've obviously earned it with a nice winning streak. Were you pleased when they brought you this name?
Yeah, of course. You know, it's nice to have an opportunity to fight guys with big names because, you know, it's how you solidify yourself in the UFC. And I feel like now I've gotten a few records. You know, I've got a huge upset win. I'm tied for like 9th biggest upset in UFC. I have some other records too. So it's good to be established now. And I'm happy to have an opportunity to fight someone who's been in the top 15 for so long and he's only lost to either champions or potential future champions.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't help but not look at the record, right? And you only see the one win in the last 6, but you look at the names there, and they're obviously the highest of levels. So how do you, I guess, digest that? Do you feel like Pedro's fallen off a bit, or do you just chalk it up to maybe not many people would have a better record than this if they fought all these guys in a row?
Yeah, I feel like it's the latter. You know, not everybody can beat all these guys, and, you know, it's a testament to him that they keep giving him even bigger names in all these tough fights, and I respect him. And, you know, when a guy's lost a couple in a row, that's when he's most dangerous. So I really think he wants to come out there and beat me and just like keep himself in the game. I wouldn't say that he's taking this lightly at all. And he knows I have knockout power, so I know he's gonna be, you know, trying to protect his chin as well and doesn't want to get put to sleep.
Nearly impossible to finish this guy, but when you look at it, do you think you can be the one?
You never know, man. You know, people said Max Holloway will never be finished, and then Topuria did it, and that gives me a lot of confidence that I can do it too. Eric Keelang had never been KO'd. I KO'd him. So there's always a possibility, but the training camp, the main idea was we're going to decision because he's never been finished, never been subbed, never been KO'd. So I'm ready to go all night.
You mentioned the training camp. You're an analyst now a little bit. You know about the rule set changes coming in. Yeah. How do you factor that into your preparation?
Well, it was harder for my teammates than for me because I'm going to be the first one competing with the new rule change. So anytime my teammates they went to like 4 points, they thought they were grounded, and I was faking knees to their head, and my brother was yelling at them, "It's not grounded anymore. You got to put your knee down." And they weren't aware. So, like, because I knew the rules change was happening for this fight, I was trying to implement it in my practice. And I feel like it's going to limit stalling. Like, you can see a lot less stalling in MMA now because of this rule change, especially because of the knees. When guys are going to go to one knee or one elbow, it's going to be a lot easier to advance into a good grappling situation, like taking someone's back or putting them flat, dragging them back and flattening them out. The 12-6 elbows, I don't know how well it's going to be used, you know, to be honest. Like, it's to be seen. But I feel like forcing the guy to one knee or one elbow, it's going to change the grappling in MMA.
What's the next rule set change you'd like to see happen in MMA?
I don't have nothing in mind in particular, but, you know, it would be nice to have clearer rules on when the referee should separate it off the fence. You know, because some fights, like I know there's a big controversial fight between Batista and Aldo, and like I could have seen it go either way. Like it's not really a robbery because round 2, yeah, he got all the control time, but Aldo did the damage in the first 2.5 minutes, but the second 2.5 minutes was all controlled. So it's like we need more of a gauge for the referees to be like, you know what, this is enough, man. If you're not scoring big enough of a strike or damaging enough of a strike, we're going to take you off the fence, you know.
Do you like Conor McGregor's shot clock idea?
That's actually a really good idea. I didn't hear that idea, but a shot clock kind of makes sense. But what if the guy's like really creating damage? Then why you don't need a shot clock. But if there's not enough damage, you start the shot clock. Then you got to reset it every time there's a big elbow or a big knee to the head. I don't know. It's tough. Listen, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm just picking at straws here. I don't know what.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
You're not only on a great streak right now, but you are also competing in a calendar year for the second time. And that's the first time, I think, since like 2017 for you. Yeah. So how big is it to get that consistency going? And is this kind of a focal point for you moving forward to stay busy?
Yeah, exactly. So I want to fight as often as possible, especially after my last fight. Sean Shelby had told me he wants me to fight more often, and I'm excited to do so. I feel like now I've established myself and my team and what I want to do in the routine, and now it really feels like business as usual when I come to fight, and I'm excited to just stack a bunch of fights now as close together as possible.
And And in particular, the Javid Basharat fight. I mean, do you take a lot away from that because he was such a big prospect, undefeated? A lot of people had really, really had him high up on their ones to watch list, so to speak. So, do you take a lot of that away, and do you think that's why that fight in particular is why some of the current opportunities are coming?
Yeah, well, I saw some of his vlogs and stuff, and he was getting interviewed by the commentary guys, and they were saying how if he beats me, he's in the top 15, so whatever. So I feel like I kind of took some of that hype that he had and that whole potential to rise up into the division. So I kind of stole that from him, but nonetheless, I think he's a very good fighter. He's very hard to beat, and it was still a tough fight. I lost round 1, but then I won rounds 2 and 3. And I feel like a lot of guys in the bantamweight division are going to have a hard time beating him. He's not an easy problem to solve. He's always coming at you. He's always in your face. He's got great speed, great reach, great height, and he's a well-rounded fighter. And you saw his brother had a really good fight recently, and those guys train real hard. I told him after the fight, actually, I'd love to train with him in the future. If there's ever a chance, we can team up. We can maybe get better together.
Very cool. And last one for me. I mean, how nice is it to have another opportunity to fight here in Canada? We're going twice this year for a change.
Yeah, I love it. I'm hoping that they do more events in Canada. I know every time they come, they sell out. Even here in Edmonton, I'm expecting it to be a sellout crowd on Saturday night. And the Canadian fans love fighting. I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and I was telling him, even in our biggest national sports like hockey or lacrosse, fighting is involved. Canadians, the fighting's part of our culture. We've always had great boxers, great kickboxers, great karate guys, great hockey fighters, great lacrosse brawlers, things like that. So it's something that I think Canadian fans really appreciate when UFC comes, and they always show out, and they're always a great crowd. So I'm excited to fight here.
Just out of curiosity, when you were growing up, did you have a hockey enforcer that you were a fan of?
No, not really, not particular. But Derek Parker used to train with us. And he had won the first ever tournament. In Russia, they had a tournament of ice hockey fighting. So you could say he was my favorite hockey fighter because I got to meet him and stuff. He's super tough. Hockey guys are extremely tough. And he has one of the most viral videos where he's beating a guy in MMA in ground and pound, and the guy's mouthpiece falls out. During the fight, takes the mouthpiece, puts it in the guy's mouth, and keeps beating him up. Just good old Canadian fighting. Just nice boys out there who know how to take care of business.
Thanks, man. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Amen, back here, brother.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
I just wanted to ask you, with the age of social media and promoting yourself nowadays, like you said, you're one of the best fighters in Canada, and you're one of the rising stars in the division right now. Realistically, I know, you're a guy that always is fighting, doing the talking, but, at what point are you going to have to become, more active on social media and kind of calling guys out and, not starting beefs, but, just getting more eyes on you, right, as you start to climb the rankings?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So everybody follow me on YouTube. But, I'm not much of a trash talker. I don't think it makes any sense. In the end, it's a business, and we're sportsmen. And actually, on Tuesday morning, I bumped into Pedro in the lobby, and we both gave each other a hug. And he told me, he's like, "Hey, you look skinny." I'm like, "You look skinny too, man." I mean, in the end, I'm here to be an athlete, and I don't think the guys in the NBA need to talk trash, or NFL, and I don't think I need to talk trash either. I think that in the end, we want kids to come into this sport. We want them to be great martial artists and develop good characters. And it's not about being a bad guy. It's about performing in your sport. That's really the point for me. And I'm trying to grow my social media through other avenues than talking trash.
And then I think when you look at the numbers, I think Pedro has something like an 82% takedown defense. And I think he holds the record in the bantamweight division for most significant strikes landed right now.
Oh.
So I think that kind of tells you where this fight's going to take place.
Yeah.
Are you expecting, if you have to, are you expecting to just kind of stand in there and trade with a guy like Pedro?
Yeah, I'm ready to go 15 minutes on the feet for sure. It's one record I don't want to have is most strikes landed in a fight. I'd rather land a few and put you out than have the record for most strikes landed. Being a volume guy is great, but being a damage guy is even better. And we saw that play out with Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria.
Cheers, bro.
Aiemann here.
Yep.
You posted yesterday, consistency over time is essential. Is that kind of what you're thinking heading into this stage of your career? Obviously, coming in here with a win over Pedro, it'd be 5 wins in a row. And in the world of mixed martial arts, obviously, for different reasons, it's hard to find that level of consistency. What has it been for you recently that has given you that level of consistency that you feel that you need?
Yeah, it's I have all the resources I need. Obviously, throughout the wins, the paychecks are getting bigger. So it's much easier now to stay in the gym and do absolutely nothing else and just focus on my craft and do what I have to do. It's much easier now to fly in the guys and pay for their hotel rooms and give them per diem so that they can eat, and it costs them nothing to be there. You know, it just helps to have built a solid team. When I first started off in the UFC, I used to run deep. I used to have a lot of people around me all the time, and it ended up being a lot of a distraction. And during COVID, I kind of had to lean out my team because I couldn't fly with many people. So, and I figured out who were the ones or the real ones who really cared no matter what was going on. They were still going to be there during COVID, during anything. And I just feel like my surroundings now are lesser, but they're stronger. And I feel like that allows me to be consistent over time. And I've been training for 20 years because I just absolutely love it. You know, and I never fought for the money, but now having the money, it's a nice bonus to have. And it allows me to continue to run down my dreams, you know. So hopefully we fight a few more times.
Obviously, a win over Pedro sets you up for a couple of big fights. Do you have any eyes on anybody in the rest of the division right now?
Well, I got to just take care of Pedro. You know, that's the big obstacle. And then Sean Shelby's the best at his job for a reason, you know. And you see all these guys have great careers, and he knows what to do as a matchmaker. And I'm sure after the fight, we'll have a talk.
You said you had a couple of costumes this week. Any fancy dress for Halloween tomorrow or anything like that? You going to break out anything special?
No, I didn't break anything out, but they had me. The UFC team had me dress up as Dracula, so it's gonna be cool. That's gonna come out hopefully tomorrow. It'll be fun. I'm gonna send it over to my daughters so they can see.
I spoke to you before about the current state of Canadian mixed martial arts from like a level, grassroots level, right up to the very top where you're at right now. I'm just wondering what your opinion is on the current state of Canadian mixed martial arts.
Well, I'm happy now that there's new promotions coming out and they're putting on shows like Unified, BTC, Samurai in Quebec. And we need these guys, and BFL obviously in Vancouver. And we need these promotions to keep coming up to give guys an opportunity to eventually get to something like the UFC. And I know in the United States there's a lot more promotions than there is in Canada. And but we need these promotions to stay alive, and we have to go out there and support the local fighters, because without supporting them before they get to the UFC, you're never going to see Canadian fighters in the UFC. You know, it's not easy to create a support system where you have the opportunity to eventually make it, but I feel like we're headed in the right direction in Canada. You know, on the world stage, like UFC level and that stuff, like the Canadian guys have been struggling a little bit, but hopefully this weekend we turn it around.
Thank you.
No problem.
Aiemann, just one more here.
Yep.
Since you're an analyst guy, YouTube channel guy now, give me your fieriest take on the bantamweight title situation right now. Is Merab ducking Umar? Does Sean O'Malley deserve an immediate rematch? What's going on here?
Yeah, listen, it's weird because I feel like he's super confident, Merab, and he's got great skills, and he did an amazing job against Sean O'Malley, and I feel like why not fight Umar? You know, if that's the guy, it's so hard for an ex-champion to get a rematch. Like, why is he pushing for the rematch? Maybe it's an easier paycheck fighting Sean O'Malley, then it's going to be Umar for sure. I think stylistically, because Umar is such a good wrestler, it's going to be a much harder fight for Merab because his whole thing is taking guys down, and he has a very low finish rate. So it might be a little bit. I don't know, but I think Dana wants it. I heard him say last week it's Umar, but in the end, I think Merab is going to do what UFC wants, and he's going to fight, and that's one fight I can't wait to watch. It's going to be incredible. Very high level chess match, that fight. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.